Hello, I'm Khushi from Fergusson College, and the title of my project is Resolving the Agricultural Evil with the Helping Hand of Science and Technology. So, I would be covering all these things in the project, and let's get started. Okay, so starting with the introduction, this is the agricultural profile of our country. India ranks second in the worldwide farm outputs. It is the second largest producer of wheat and rice, which is the world's major food staples, and a lot of other profiles. These prove that India is the agricultural hub of the world and plays a major role in tackling food insecurity and hunger. Even after being a major hub of agriculture, the sustainable agriculture is still a problem in India. So, moving forward, these are some bitter truths about the Indian agriculture. The agricultural contribution of agriculture in GDP has been decreasing in the past few years. The pesticide use has increased by more than 100%. The per capita water availability has decreased by 70%. And even if India has attained self-sufficiency, the productivity of its farms is much lower than that of Brazil, United States, France, and other nations. What are the problems? First thing is the rural-urban divide. Majority of the agriculture is practiced in the rural areas. Lack of investment in agriculture, lack of effective policies made by the government, which are not strong enough to organize the agricultural sector, negligence of natural resources, that is, the natural resources are not being used in such a way which is referred to as sustainable development, and that is causing a major problem. The irrigation facilities are not proper, and mainly, even after so many years and a lot of development in this sector, the farmers depend on monsoon for irrigation purpose, and the fertilizer industry, whose quality has deteriorated in the past few years, past few decades, is also a major concern. So, what are the main aims and objectives of this project? The main aim of this project is to resolve the major agricultural issues with the helping hand of technology and the development of technology in such a way that it is durable, reliable, easy to use, and cost effective as well. One more thing is that picking up things from the heart of the nature, which can improve the health of the environment and also the quality of agricultural produce. Summing it up, developing sustainable agriculture, establishing a harmony between technological development and environment is a major objective. Now, why did I take this project? Firstly, I love to do science projects. They give me an opportunity, a platform where I can express or I can apply the knowledge which I have and improve my skills. Secondly, being a responsible citizen of India, I feel it's my duty is to contribute my part for the development of the nation. And thirdly, I want to return the society. I want to do my part for the development of this society as a whole. Now, how did I work? I identified the major problem, the problem which concerns me the most, and then I researched on it. I went through surveys, case studies, and then working on solutions and the future plans. Now, the survey was conducted via online Google Forms. The farmers were contacted and asked to fill those questionnaires. And the data of the survey of 2018, which was again for a science project, which was did by me, was collected and compiled and is presented, and the data is analyzed and presented here. Now, in 2018, we contacted around 35 farmers. That was a ground survey. So we talked to them in details and asked them more about the problems and a lot of extra knowledge. And this year, 30 farmers were could respond, and this was because of the pandemic scenario. We could not conduct a ground survey, so in total, 65 farmers responded, and the questions were related to the agricultural practices, like the problems they face, the area of the land they cultivate, how are they using the chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and what are the precautions they've been taking. Now, this was it in 2018. So we contacted the farmers in and near Pune. So that was a particular area which was being focused. Now, this was the questionnaire for 2018. Now, this is a in detail questionnaire. It covers almost everything which is related to the agricultural practices and which would be required for the further proceedings. Now, these were the observations that almost 99% of the farmers practiced not used chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and only one of them used practiced organic farming, and a lot of variety of crops are grown in and near Pune, and many of them don't even know the company of chemical pesticides and fertilizers they use, and not even the quantity. Now, these are the list of the fertilizer and pesticides which are used by some of the farmers. And after researching and finding their composition, I found out that almost all of them contain one or the some chemicals which are quite harmful for the humans directly, and rest every chemical is having a harmful effect on the environment, majorly the aquatic life, and which is mainly disrupting the aquatic life and in turn affecting the human health. Now, this is the description of the pesticides which I could found on the after the research, and mm, this comes the fact sheet that what or how much harmful are they, and almost all of them cause direct harm to the aquatic life. It is written in the I found out in a safety sheet or a safety check of these pesticides. Almost all of them are harmful for aquatic life, infants, and children mainly. And some of them have direct impact on human life, and others are indirectly impacting the human life. This is one for fertilizers, in which the fertilizers like 10, 26, 26, these depict the ratio of the minerals in them, mostly nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. And what all these have impacts is, even while spraying, if they come in contact with human skin, they have rashes, irritations, and skin cancers kind of stuff happening. And even indirectly, they affect the soil quality and the water quality. Now, this was the survey questionnaire for 2020. This was kept short and crisp because it was conducted online, and the observations were that mainly farmers from the Vidarbha region responded, and main crop grown there is cotton, along with other crops like millets, jowar, bajra, banana, etc. And they face a lot of problems, majority of them being the in pest attacks and the irregular water supplies. And this data was represented in a pie chart, and yes. Now, what I conclude is farmers face a lot of issues. They do not know whom to contact, how to resolve their problems. So, why not take up their problems and work on the solutions? And now, also the case studies which I found out from the past newspaper reports and internet. The pesticide industry, though it looks perfect from the outside, on the inside it is highly unorganized, and the norms are not properly being followed. For example, if a farmer buys chemical X from the seller and he does not know its composition, he just does as the seller says him to do, and the amount that the seller says it to spray, which is of almost all the time crossing the safety limits. And even if the government has not approved the X chemical, even after being banned or being not approved, they are being sold in the market, and this causes pesticide poisoning. And these are some figures that 93 chemicals that have been banned by the nations, developed countries, are still being used by India. And this causes pesticide poisoning, in which Maharashtra is the leading state. So best in recent years, pesticides have proved that they were supposed to be a boon, but now they are turning into a curse. And these are the pesticide poisoning casualties. Now, too much of anything is always bad, and Indian veggies fruits remain highly toxic. And these are some figures which show the residues of fertilizer chemicals in the fruits and vegetables, and the impacts of pesticides on health. Now, concluding that biomagnification is a major concern which affects the organisms in the higher food chain, which includes humans. So, as indirectly or directly, they are affecting us, they are affecting the environment, and for a long term basis that is not good. Being the future generation, that concerns me a lot, because we have to face the consequences, whatever the consequences are. So why not just taking steps right now, so that we can preserve this earth planet for in a we can give it in a hand it in a better way to the future generation. Now, coming to the solutions part, correlating the major environmental issues like pollution and working on the solutions. So increased use of pesticides and fertilizer and pollution, these are the major issues. Why don't I correlate them? I thought, and it turned out, yes, I was right. The increased use of pesticides and fertilizers is affecting air as well as water quality. And air pollution, I mean, they are dissolved in water while spraying, so they get volatile and react with chemical compounds present in air, or even the dust particles which are inhaled by us. So they cause that. And the second thing is they get accumulated in the tropospheric ozone, which is nothing but a ozone layer which contains the chemical and pollutants. And pesticides account for 6% of the total tropospheric ozone layer, so which is a great concern. In water pollution, they get leached in soil, they are flowed with the runoff water, they enter the water bodies, which include affects the aquatic life, the plants, flora and fauna of the aquatic life, which in turn causes biomagnification, and it affects us at the end. So the pesticide cycle is a vicious circle, and we need to stop the inputs and for these cycles to stop. So what can be done is development of affordable yet effective technology, encouraging the use of natural substances as an alternative for chemical pesticides and fertilizers, practicing different farming methods like strip and trap cropping, and using helpful microbes to combat pest attacks. So beginning with the technological part, so why not developing a device that would help farmers to ease their farming, like when they put the area of the land and crop which has to be grown as the inputs. The device will process the inputs and give us an output as to what quantity of seeds is required, what quantity of fertilizers and pesticides is required, preferably organic, and what distance should the seeds be planted. So this device should be easy to use, durable, reliable, and cost effective, because even though these softwares are developed, they are not cost effective. That's why they are not being used, and they just remain on papers, and they're not being used in the daily life or actual reality. Next, India, one more thing is that in India, most of the farmers belong to marginal category. They are not properly literate. So educating them about the use of these devices. And also every village has a gram panchayat, so a gram panchayat can buy one device, and this can be used by all the farmers in the village. And also, if possible, the language of the device would be kept Hindi or Marathi or any regional language, so that it is more convenient for the farmers to use, because sustainable agriculture is a must, is a issue that needs to be solved, because there is no alternative, and India is an agricultural hub. So it plays a crucial role in the food security of the entire world. Next, turning the problem into a solution. Okay, so stubble burning is a major issue in India. Even after bans, the stubble burning continues, which causes major harm to the air quality. So why not turning this problem into a solution? So as the bio batteries are being used, they use glucose as a fuel. So why not using stubble burning as a fuel for bio battery? So which in turn would convert this stubble into energy, and that energy can be used in the irrigation motor pumps. So that would solve the entire problem and would also save electricity. So that would be a healthy, eco-friendly choice. And this is some data that NASA has collected, that on October 19, 2020 at 5 p.m. these were the fires across the North India. And this is a major issue because it contributes to carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, carbon dioxide, and a lot of other gases which deteriorate the air quality. So this I would be working on this. I would be talking to the experts, going to the agricultural college for further research. Second is encouraging the use of natural substances as an alternative for chemical pesticides and fertilizers. First is garlic. Garlic can be used in many ways as a fungicide, as an insecticide, because it contains garlic leaf agglutinin, which is a toxic chemical, which is toxic for the sap-sucking insects like green leaf hoppers, bugs, slugs, grubs, snails, thrips, grasshoppers, chickpea aphids, etc. So this can be used as an alternative for the chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and it would help to a great extent. Okay, so this can be done as if this is a fruit tree, garlic plants can be planted around it. So this would keep the pests away from the fruit tree, and also companion planting, wherein the strips of garlic plant should be planted between the main crop. So this would also help to keep pests away. And garlic spray preparation can also be done. So making a concentrated extract, taking some cloves of garlic, crushing them in a mortar pestle, putting them in boiling water, letting it stand for 24 hours, and then the spray is ready to use. It should be sprayed all over the plants, and this is not this would not cause any harm to human health. Even if some of it gets into your on your skin, it won't cause any major issue. And similar goes with onion spray preparation. And onions are also natural pest repellents because of the antibacterial sulfide components, and they can keep the pests like ants, aphids, flea beetles, carrot flies, and mosquitoes away. Next is marigold. Growing marigolds around the boundary of fences, that is nothing but trap cropping, and would help attract the pollinators like bees, ladybugs, and help them to thrive and survive. So, which would help in pollination and increase the productivity. Its roots contain toxic chemical called alpha terphenol, which is toxic for the nematodes. So this would inhibit the hatching of nematode eggs, and which in turn would protect the crop from pests. One more thing can be done is to be effective. Effective, the marigold plants can be planted 2 months before the main crop plantation, and they should be dumped in the soil. So that would help to keep the nematodes away. And yes, so these are the strip cropping and trap cropping methods, which would also help to increase the productivity and proper utilization of minerals in the soil. Also, some insects like ladybugs are a great option or alternative for chemicals, because they feed on aphids, which are like affect almost all the crops. And they in the lifetime they consume 5,000 aphids, and as soon as the eggs hatch, the larvae start feeding the aphids, and they can eat almost 50 aphids a day. So they would help in that, and also in pollination. Next is more alternatives are like zero waste farming system, use of pheromone traps to keep pest population under control, drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, vermicomposting, and mainly organizing the agricultural sector. So zero waste farming system includes, for example, if a farmer is planting a crop, he can also start dairy farming and beekeeping. Beekeeping would help. Help in pollination, which would increase productivity. He can make he can extract honey from them and generate extra income. And dairy farm in for dairy farming, he can sell milk and other milk products for extra income, and the dung, cow dung or cattle dung, can be used for biogas preparation and as a manure for crop production. So all in turn, there won't be a waste, and every waste would be as an input for other cycle or other activity, and hence this would help. One more thing can be done is planting legumes before the main crop. So these should be planted again 1 or 2 months prior to the main crop plantation, because they would help increase the nitrogen content of the soil, and they should be dumped in the soil, and then the main crop should be planted. So this would enrich the nitrogen content of the soil. And drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, and vermicomposting, this is all we have read in our school textbook, college books, but this is something that is on papers and which is not being excessively practiced. But this is something that should be done so as to conserve our natural resources and increase the quality of our ecosystem, which is decreasing, or which is deteriorating at an alarming rate. Now, in the future, I would be researching on these topics a lot. I would be talking to experts, visiting the agricultural college for further research, and why not designing a proper production unit for the manufacture of these chemical pesticides, these natural pesticides like garlic spray, or developing a powder, or developing a liquid that a liquid kind of substance from garlics or onions, or mixing some of them, so that the unemployment is also eradicated. I would like to thank Fergusson College and principal of the Fergusson College, and especially I would like to extend my thanks to our seniors for organizing this event, Scireutopia, and giving us this platform to express and our ideas. And thank you.